Okay, leaving Barcelona took us about 10-15 minute cab ride to get to the ship. Getting on the ship really had no problems at all. Once we're on that day, cruised around, checked out the ship, relaxed. We were on the 11th deck out of 15. These ships are ginormous. They have everything on them. It was fun just to walk around and look at the shops and do different things. So after a massage, we decided to go to a food thing on the second day, and it was a 3D animated called Cuisine. Basically, this animation, they would make food, and like you're seeing here, it's making a pizza, and the thought would be at the end, whatever the little chef would make, then that's what would show up on your plate. This one didn't work out exactly with it, but it was really a fun event to do that, and we had a good time. Okay, so that gets us into our first tour, and that's going to be Ephesus. We didn't go. Ephesus doesn't have a port. It's Kusadasi is the port, and Ephesus is about probably 20 minutes away. Even though Ephesus was a port back in the days of Christ, it isn't anymore because silt and stuff have come up to that, which is interesting. So what we're seeing here is the port, and it's a nice port city. I mean, it has a beach there. You see the little pilot ship bring us in. You had a couple other cruise ships there that had docked. There are a lot of cities actually in Turkey that are nice resort places. I didn't realize that, but it was really nice. One of the things that we'd worried about when we got into Kusadasi is how were we going to find our tour? Well, when we got off the ship, our name was actually on a board, which was super nice. We had our own private tour. This is a taxi that we got into. We had our driver. This is our tour guide in front. Really big. We had our water and everything set up. It was probably about a 20-minute ride to our next destination. And the first destination we went to was the Virgin Mary House. Here's a picture of our tour guide. And as the story goes, after the Savior was crucified, Mary was entrusted to Paul, and Paul took her to Ephesus to do preaching, and she was up in the mountains and stayed in this very house. So everybody walks through the house. Some of the original stuff is still there. Long lines, do things. It was a nice picture taking thing. There's a well there where you can get some water from, and supposedly, hey, if you drink it, then you're going to be, it's good for you. It's funny. They told us don't drink it because it's not good. And then they also had a wishing wall where you'd write down something on here if you wanted to see it. Get a miracle happen. Okay, now here we're actually in the ancient city of Ephesus. There were four cities. The big one was the third city. That's what we visited right here. And these pipes that you can see off to the left, those were actually terracotta pipes used for water. Now, they discovered this probably in the mid 19th century. It was under about 15 feet of silt, and nobody had really explored it. The Austrian Archaeological Society really started up excavating it. This is going up some stairs. This is the original marble steps, and at this place specifically right here, this small little Colosseum place, this is where the administrative state worked, and this is where the leaders would get together and debate the various policies that would happen for the city. You can see all these little towers and columns down here. All these were really knocked down later on. Oh, right here, there's tons of cats around here. Somebody taking a picture of one. But you see all these columns here. A lot of these were destroyed through earthquakes and stuff, and people just archaeologists put these back together. But the administrative state was on the top, and then you would kind of walk down. This is an interesting symbol that you saw here. This is the rod of Asclepius. You see this on medical stuff even as of today. This was done, back in 2 or 3 centuries before Christ. There's Artemis, and what we're seeing right here is the structure is what they believe to be some kind of medical facility. They found medical tools inside of that building right here. Interesting to see. all the sculptures. This is interesting because remember the Greeks took this over 3rd century BC, so you see a lot of Greek writing on stuff. Later on, though, the Romans had taken it over, so you also see Roman writings on a lot of the artifacts here too. Now we're going to look up the hill to where we came from, and this is just a picture that we took in front of some of the ruins. Now we're going down the hill, going down towards the library. But as we turn around and look here, we're going to see a statue of Hercules on the left-hand side, the Roman god of strength. I think they only have 15% of this site actually excavated, and they're continually working on it. Now, this pavement or this way right here, that was made of marble, and it was super slick. Even when we were going down, we slipped a couple times. Just really interesting. This structure in the back are some houses that they discovered of which would have been the wealthy people in the area. Some of this stuff up in the front would be, this is the Temple of Hadrian, and these would have been homes of kind of middle-class people with stairs that were going upward. Once again, the wealthy people is behind that tent. They're excavating it and figuring that out. Here's the famous library. It's the 3rd largest one in the world that was done. It got destroyed in actually 1970. A series of archaeologists put that together. It took them 10 years together to put this facade back together. But the interesting thing about this is people like Mark Antony, Cleopatra actually walked down these stairs and went into this ancient library way back when. As we continue walking through this archway right here, we'll see a dog on the right-hand side. All the dogs, a lot of them have little tags in the ears, which means that the government has neutered them, so we don't have tons of stray dogs running around. But this goes into a big complex called the Agora. This would have been the main trading place for people back in the day. Now, once again, while it looks far away that the port would have been, back then, 2,000 years ago, the port was actually within probably a couple hundred yards of what you're seeing right here. Of course, back then they also had a big Colosseum, and I believe that there's been artists like Sting and others that have actually played in this Colosseum. Really fun to explore here. It was about 80 degrees, pretty warm. Glad we had our water and stuff. Okay. The next stop that we have is going to be in Mykonos. Really windy out here at this time. We got here in the morning, and to look at that, so we had to get up early and take our tinder boat in, which we're doing right here. And once we get the tinder boat into the port, we can get off and do various activities. About 100 people or so on these boats, so really it wasn't problematic. Right in front of me that you see here was a guy on a scooter, and we ended up renting a scooter from this guy. And here's Chester's cousin right here. Cats all over the place. It's kind of funny. We rent our scooter. It took about a 20-minute ride out to a private beach. No, it wasn't a private beach. It was a public beach. Wow, this water was super clear. Unfortunately, it was windy, so it was really hard to kind of get in the water and do anything, but just an absolutely gorgeous day, beautiful. Clouds rolling in and out. We didn't have any rain issues. Here's a peach taking it on the beach. Okay, here we get on our scooter, and we're taking some video going down the road. Tour bus off to the left. Tons of cars. Everybody travels here. A lot of people travel on scooters, or you'll see a four-wheeler right here that people travel on, and they rent those a lot also. Out there's a picture of us. We had the GoPro going, and the landscape is pretty much the same on all these islands. Pretty bare, pretty sparse. All the buildings painted in white. But the beautiful thing is you go down the road, And you'll see here just going around the corner, you have these little beach areas that are carved out. You can see that it was extremely windy. You can see the whitecaps going on out there in the ocean. One of the things that we didn't see a lot on this trip were traffic issues. And right here, you can see somebody had an accident on a scooter just going by. Doesn't look like they were hurt, but little traffic jam that we had in Mykonos. Off to the right, a really nice resort. So a lot of people go here and spend a week in vacation. And here we are just coming down into the bay where all the ships are. The ones with the red lettering on the bottom, those are going to be ferries for people going between islands. Here we are on the scooter. I missed the turnoff. I'm turning around, but that's our ship right there. Great, we turn in our scooter. We still have a couple hours left. We decide to walk into the town, which is by about 10 minutes. You can see how windy it was out here. Still very beautiful. Lots of shops, and just the ground was, it was really fun just to walk around. Typical street here. There's a dozen of these streets that you'd walk down. All white buildings with the blue railings. Stairs going upstairs where people live, selling shoes and dresses and knickknacks. And there's some really nice stores in here too, some high-end stores. So we just take this all in as we're walking down. This was just extremely relaxing, and it was probably about 75 out. Very nice. Of course, at the end of the day, we're hungry. So we stop off at this place. This was really awesome, eating right next to the shore. They didn't have any food I could eat, so I had a salad. Norma had some seafood on here. And top off the end of the day with gelato. Take a tender back to the ship.